Okay, so hopefully you've got basic animation skills down. You've got it to roll to bounce. Now what we're going to start talking about is rigging an object, and hopefully eventually tail, something that works like kind of a vertebrae of bones rather than hands. It's going to be the same kind of principle, but this way, because they're all uniform, it's going to be easier to kind of grasp, I think, for most of you. So if we bring in an object that's a cylinder, what we're going to want, because we want to move it, we want to add more geometry to this. At the minute, it's only got geometry going this way, nothing this way, and we're going to want to kind of bend the tail around. So if you can go on inputs, click on polycylinder, this shape, and if you can add some more subdivisions, again, maybe 15 could be enough, and then just maybe double up the axis one, so something like 30 by 15 kind of do, just so you've got more to work on in here. As when we move it, it's going to give us a little bit more to move with. So if I now turn my workspace to rigging, going to give us 30 by 15 kind of do, just so you've got more to work on in here. As when we move it, it's going to give us about making a rig. So we've got this button here, which is a create joints button, and when we click, basically to say is you wouldn't. Now the view goes all over the place. You normally do it in the front of, and within the they go when we move them out around hip joint have autonomy. This tool. Okay, in the these change it all have. I'm going to really rigging. Hold down right, and I'm going to want to add several joints into this again. So what I want, and I could follow the see that if you go, put one every grid, or you can put one every two. So let's for instance let's try one every two. Now at the minute you can't see that. Yeah, tool. Okay, and chance you've got more to work. If I now turn my workspace joints button to print in this tool, so camera view. I've got 1, 2, 3. Four, 5 joints. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or 5. And as I said, this one is a parent, so this one child, that one child, that one child, that one child. This is the way it's running from 1 to 5. Okay. And what's really important at this point is if we just go back into perspective view, we just check. That it's in the model. Okay. So now turn back on X-ray joints, hold down space, let's go back into front view. What I need to do is hold down shift. I've got to select all of the joints, skin, and bind skin. Now what that should do is basically say I want you to lock all of those joints to the shape. So basically I want to put this skeleton, I want to use this cylinder as a skin over this skeleton. Okay, and that should then process that. Now if I don't click off those by accident, make sure I go back to the select view. If I click off that, hopefully okay, but make sure I lock all of those joints. I want to go to skin, okay, and then select the shape, and I want to go to skin and bind skin. I want to put this skeleton. If I don't click off those by accident, make sure I go back to the select view. If I click off that, hopefully, okay, if I just run that again, I think by clicking those I've made a little bit of a mistake. Yeah, it should be okay. So hopefully now these rainbows of colours should say that all of these are linked. So let's have a look. Yeah, lovely. So now look, when I'm using my rotate tool, you can see they're linked to the object, and when I twist it, okay, all of the ones parented above will move with it as well, again like a snake's tail or neck, or whatever you want to refer to, vertebrae. Basically it'll work just like that. And now with this rig to this object, we can animate it very much like the tennis ball that we had before. So if I now go on to animation, okay, and again, I can set up my frames 1 to 120. I've currently got 5 seconds. All I need to do, click on everything, select everything, hold down S, okay, make sure that my X-rays turn back on, and now I can start to animate if I want to. Make sure that 120, I've currently got everything, select everything. Hold down S, okay, make sure that my X-rays turn back on, and now I can start to animate if I want to. So let's just again select all these parts. Lovely. Yeah, you can see at frame 1 we've got this. So again, let's go the same kind of principles. At 24, I want this one to move over. So I'm going to say this, this, something like that. Okay. And now between here, okay, I should be able to start in a second making an animation. So I'll zoom out for a second. Let's just reset on those in case I made a mistake. Let's go to 1. And let's go to 24. You can see now between 1 and 24 I'm starting to make an animation. So the same principles of what I did with the tennis ball, but I'm using the rotate tool rather. So look, between that second here, I'll play that for you. Look, it's bent that way. And now what I could do is go another sort of, I don't know, few seconds, and I bend it the other way. Sort of very crude animation. Make sure I press S to add the keyframe. And now look, bends this way, bends that way. And what I could do is, as well as having that move that way, I could have another vertebrae. So look, there's more to the bend now. Even more so, I could add another vertebrae moving as well. So I go down to this joint, have it a bit more like that. So again, now there's 3 of them bending. Look, it's got far more on that there. So I want you to rig that up for me and make an animation again, record that of that tail moving. There'll be more points for the more vertebrae you can get animated, but I just want to make that kind of go quick for you so you know what you're doing. All right, good luck, and we'll be ready to move to the next video. more on that there. So